Hello, welcome. I'm Delia. So glad to see you here today. Thanks for clicking on. So, I wanted to jump on today and talk a little bit about taking things personally and how it's really common and certainly socially acceptable. There's a lot of conversation based on who's right and who's wrong, and they said, and she said, and I said, and he said. Um, it's this common thing where taking your point of view and then kind of transposing it onto somebody else. So, what do I mean by that? Well, if someone, say you have a coworker, and this is really common, so you have a coworker and you don't get along and you don't like each other. Maybe you're kind of vying for the same position, and the coworker will say things. And if you take them personally, either what they say or what they do, if you take them personally, you will be in like a constant state of agitation. And in a situation like that, where um, your livelihood is on the line, then it amplifies everything because the threat level goes up. So, if you're working someplace and somebody doesn't like you and they're talking bad about you, or maybe you're just suspicious that they're talking bad about you. Either way, you're fully engaged in all of this now, no matter what the other person is doing. And when you're in the mindset of taking things personal, then it's like you have on a pair of glasses, and the pair of glasses attunes you to everything that that person is doing, and you're going to see it through the lens of what does it mean about me. So you're not even seeing what they're doing or who they are as they are. You're seeing it through the lens of what does it mean about me, because that's the nature of taking things personal, is that you're looking through the lens of what does this mean about me. And as long as or as soon as your well-being is outside of you, and you have subbed it out to somebody outside of you, to somebody you don't even like, and they don't even like you, then your whole system is going to be agitated 24/7, because you're not the center of your well-being. You have given away to somebody you can't trust. This is a very agitating and kind of constant state of threat for your body to experience. And your well being actually belongs in you, your choices, your words, what you do with any situation. So even if, let's play devil's advocate, worst case scenario. So this other person at work um, just wants to cause you trouble, or is vying for your position or something like that. Let's say they're actually doing that stuff. They're actually out to get you. Um, and in a situation like that, it's conventional wisdom says that you're powerless. You're not in a position of power in that situation. They have the power in that situation, which is not accurate, because you always have the power. Your choice, what you do with any situation, is your power. And choice is one of our most amazing superpowers. When we um, when we practice choosing from actual choice and not survival. So this whole situation that we're describing here puts you in survival, because your first chakra is all about, am, am I physically safe in the world? And if you don't have a job, then you're not physically safe in the world because if you don't have a job, you don't have savings, you don't have maybe a roof over your head, maybe a car, it trickles down. So anything having to do with your job is going to be really survival oriented for you because it's the basis of how you navigate the everyday life. And it's kind of similar as being an employee as opposed to being your own boss. And if you are an employee and you're at the mercy of the whims of a bunch of other people that you don't know and probably don't like you and you don't like them to some degree, right? They don't care, not like you care, right? So that's a very nerve wracking position. But imagine being an employee, same situation, crazy corporate politics. But imagine being your own boss and you're there because you choose to be there. And you choose to be there because this is the most convenient or the easiest way to support yourself, to exchange your time and your effort for money. And with the money that you get from that job, you're funding your life. So, did you notice a little shift in your body when you tried on the idea of you work for you and you're at this place because it's for your advantage, it's to your advantage, and you're in an exchange and they pay you and you provide a service. So this is going to feel very different for your body. I just noticed a lot of neck and shoulder relaxation as well as in the belly, solar plexus area, like an exhale, like there's more space, there's more room. And that's exactly true. The more you're owning you and your well being as your duty, your responsibility, your job, you work for you, and providing for you is what you do, then you're having your back. You're standing up for yourself. You're being on your side. And then the whole system can relax because you're being on your side. And then um, to a s- to a degree, it doesn't matter what the other person does or those crazy people at work because you work for you. And if this particular gig dries up, you'll go get another gig. That's all. And if you hear this kind of threatening thought that, well, yeah, but the market is bad, or the economy is bad, or finding another job is hard, those are all things, again, about taking things personal and putting the power outside of you. So you're agreeing with whoever these phantom outside they are that you can't get a job, that the economy is more powerful than you, and that you're a victim of the circumstances. When the truth is that when you work for you and you have your back and you're on your side, where one thing, where one door closes, you'll find another door to open. And the universe will help you. The life and the universe actually are on your side. So it's not like you have to make these discoveries um, in a vacuum. So if you take things personally, then you will feel every slight and you will be wounded all the time and you'll be upset all the time. And so, who benefits from you being upset all the time? Well, first of all, not you. Does not benefit you at all to be upset all the time. And again, it goes back to the power as being outside of you. It's in the opinions and moods, which very, very unsubstantial, of other people. So it's very far removed from your appropriate control, from your jurisdiction. And your jurisdiction is everything that's going on in here. So if you're not having your back and being judicious on your own behalf, if you're not being your sovereign self, and you're subbing out your well-being to a lot of people around you and their opinions, then that's that constant state of nervousness. Whereas when you are with you, when you are on your side, then it doesn't matter so much what other people think or say or do, because whatever happens, you're going to turn it into the best thing that could have happened. You're on your side. And so, therefore, whatever happens um, is the next thing for you to create a good life out of. So it's a totally different orientation and a totally different way of operating. So the people who benefit the most from you being upset and taking things personal are never people that have your best interest at heart. I mean, right now you can see it on the big scale on social. What do you call it? Things that are happening in the world right now. Modern current events, especially current politics. I mean, the whole news industry is kind of on an entertainment model now, and so its whole purpose is to jack you up, whether it's um, clickbait or salacious headlines or ads or tragedy, tragedy, film at 11, right? So there's the line between how, for instance, news was conducted and disseminated, and how movie trailers are built. They used to be very different. Now they're not. And so that same movie trailer enticement, hooking you in, right, is the same model as used for the news, because now the news is supposed to, well, in the past 50 years, the news is supposed to get revenue. So there's a lot of people who are invested in you taking things personal and being upset all the time, and none of it is to your advantage. And taking things personal and being upset all the time gives you physical ailments. It gives you ulcers. It keeps you up at night. It gives you insomnia. It keeps your shoulders up in your ears. It damages your body. You're running too much cortisol, which you can't control by saying I'm not going to do that. It's in your parasympathetic nervous system. So it's never to your advantage to be taking things personally. And as a grown up in the wild kind of empath, um, I can tell you, I know firsthand how tricky it sounded impossible to me to not take things personal. How can I not take things personal when they said my name in it, right? And what I came to find out as I practiced meditation and I became more aware and did a lot of healing work, um, I came to understand that the opposite of what I thought was true was true. So in the beginning, when I first heard about not taking things personally, I thought that meant shut down your emotions, don't feel, and don't see and don't hear what you're seeing and hearing. And that's not what it means at all. Um, what it means is get bigger. The spiritual perspective is always bigger. So it can be, like a global perspective or a transpersonal perspective, or the perspective from collective consciousness, or the perspective of 50 or 100 or 200 years. Anything that makes sense to your body, that makes sense to you, anything that helps you get bigger than the situation, because the situation is right here, right now. And when you get bigger than the situation, you have that 100-year perspective, or the perspective of, um, if you could tune into your highest self, what would this look like? There's just a myriad of ways that you could accomplish this, but whatever it takes for you to get bigger, and then look at the situation from there. And then you can see what parts are activated, what parts are triggered. And a lot of times it's going to be your well being, it's going to be survival, emotional or physical. And once you understand that you're experiencing the vibration of a threat to your survival, then you have traction, because then you can show up for yourself. You can have a conversation with that threat. I don't mean the person at the office. I mean the threat that's going on inside of you. Because the threat is going to be something like, if they say something, if they tell somebody this, then I'll be out of a job, and then we catastrophize. It just rolls. So you can start to notice when you're catastrophizing, and you notice when you're doing that to yourself. You can notice that, wait a minute, none of this has happened. And you can actually say, stop threatening me, because your system is playing an old loop, playing an old tape. You can interrupt the old tape by saying, stop threatening me. And you can come into yourself as much as you're capable to do it. Just bring all your energy back to yourself, and send all of their energy, that person at the office or whoever, just send all their energy back to them. You don't have to fling it at them, but you can just allow their energy to go back to them and call your energy back to you. And then that's the action step of taking your power back, taking your responsibility for yourself back. And that changes everything. So here we're talking about, taking things personally and not taking things personal. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you next time.